Welcome back to the R&D podcast. My name's Dalton.
RJ?
Today we're going to be talking about the Georgia-Tennessee matchup, Week 3, biggest game of the week. College game day going to be there in Knoxville. It's a 2:30 kickoff, which is crazy. I wish this game was a night game. But, talking about Georgia, they struggled a little bit last week. What are you thinking? What's going on with Georgia? Is this okay? Is this expected? You think they bounce back good? What do you think about Gunnar Stockton? Go into detail a little bit on Georgia.
Well, Georgia-wise, they look, even though they struggle against, Austin State P, right?
Yeah, Austin P and Marshall. It was
Yeah,
their first two games.
Marshall, they look really good. Gunnar
Hmm.
Stockton did. And they look, they still moved the ball against the last week. They just struggled they just couldn't execute well on offense. But they still got the yards and stuff. I think Georgia bounces back in this game and takes his dub in Needland. So,
Yeah.
uh, but Tennessee wise, it starts with their D line. Can they hold up against this Georgia's front right here? Because Georgia's going to run the ball. They're going to make QB runs, and can Tennessee's D line hold up against this Georgia's O line?
Kind of going back to Georgia for a second. Gunnar Stockton kind of looked a little iffy last week. Like Georgia could have hit a lot more plays, a lot larger of plays if Stockton's able to throw the ball. A lot of people are kind of calling for him to maybe be sat and second string guy go in, get some reps. Gunnar Stockton's still a great quarterback. There's no doubt about it. But this game in Tennessee may be too much for him. Who knows? You saw him come in last year for Carson Beck. He played good. He didn't do bad at all. But he hasn't looked as sharp this year. Um, Georgia's high in offensive efficiency, but they don't have very many explosive plays. Like there's not, and that's you kind of need, especially whenever you go to Neyland, you need some explosive plays to shut the crowd down, even if it's just for a little while. Um, Penalties have been a big issue for Georgia, and fumbles haven't been great. So those are two. But if you look at the bright side of Georgia, it's still Georgia. You still have Kirby Smart. He's the biggest X factor there is in coaching. And then you also have some wide receiver upgrades. You have Zachariah Branch, you have Thomas, and Branch is going to be great. He's kind of like an Eric Singleton for Auburn. You get the ball out to him, let him make plays in space. He can do that. Um, but Tennessee, you said you were talking about Tennessee's defensive line stopping Georgia's rushing attack when Tennessee has been not very great against the run. Their pass defense, their pass rush, their defense as a whole is great, but their weakest spot is the running game. So, what do you think Tennessee's going to do to maybe give Georgia a little bit of a change here? And how do you think they'll stop the Georgia offense?
Well, make a lot of stump blitzes and different reads for Gunnar Stockton, I believe. If they
Mm-hmm.
do that, I feel like Tennessee's secondary can keep up with their receivers. You just got to make Gunnar Stockton force that ball to their secondary and
Mm-hmm.
also give him a lot of pressure. That's why I say stump blitzes because you can't give Gunnar Stockton a lot of time in that pocket or run out the pocket. Also, QB spy will help too because Gunnar Stockton is going to try to run the ball, get out of pocket and run the ball also. So
Mm-hmm.
if so if Tennessee can do stunt blitzes and also give Gunnar Stockton different reads, I feel like Tennessee would do well on defense, stopping
Yeah.
this Georgia's offense.
So overall, of the first two games, you've seen Tennessee run a lot of man coverage. They have the corners to be able to run. You had a guy get hurt in the Syracuse game who was the starter. You've had a couple of dents and bruises. You had a little bit of time to get back healthy last week. Um, but this Tennessee defense is good, especially in the pass department. They can hold their own. They can get to the quarterback. What is it, Arian Carter? He's one of the best linebackers in the country, edge rushers, whatever you want to call him, in the country. He's lengthy. He took snaps off of James Pierce last year, who we know how good of a talent he was, right?
Yeah.
So Tennessee's defense looks great against the pass. Can they stop the rush? Can they contain Gunnar Stockton whenever he runs the ball? And can they stop Georgia from being able to run the ball? Um, Georgia retains Mike Bobo as the OC, as a lot of people are calling for his job. You kind of have mixed feelings with Georgia fans on, oh, he's a great coordinator, oh, he's terrible, blah, 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 blah. Either way, it looked like you almost had a team um, combined team, mishap last year. Didn't look like the same Georgia teams you usually would have
Yeah.
as far as
I
togetherness.
don't. I didn't really like Mike Bobo at Auburn, so
Yeah,
I don't feel like he's that
great of a
great of a
coach.
coordinator. Yeah.
Yeah, I there's a lot of things he does that I don't agree with, but then he every now and then he'll shock you and do something great, right?
Yeah. He would. Yeah.
Talking about Tennessee, they're going to spread this Georgia defense. Georgia has one of the best defenses in the country. They're always really disciplined. They don't make a lot of mistakes. Really hard to beat. Hard nosed, all of the above.
All right.
But Joey Aguilar looks great. Turnover margin looks great. That was the big question mark for
Zero
him coming.
turnovers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the big question mark coming from App State is will he turn the ball over like he did there? Which it's a completely different scenario because at App State he had to outscore people. At Tennessee,
Which
he could get stops.
he hasn't played against a good defense. Yeah, he played Syracuse, but Syracuse struggled against UConn last week and
Yeah.
came out with the dub, but still struggled against UConn.
Mm.
So against this Georgia defense, can Joey Aguilar not turn the ball over? I mean, Tennessee's gonna have to play a clean game here.
Yeah.
Like, stay away from penalties and stay away from turnovers against this Georgia's defense.
Telling you what Vegas says, Georgia opened up at a 7.5 point favorite, which is pretty stout being at Neyland. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a great environment to go play. That's a hard place to go win. No matter who you are. But Tennessee, we know they're going to spread Georgia out. They're going to make them make plays in space. They're going to they're going to play outside the numbers. They're going to have a lot of stuff come back across the middle. And Georgia's defense is very gap sound. They're very technical. They look really good. So Georgia honestly has the best ability, has the best, capability to be able to stop this Tennessee offense with Aguilar looking so great. Who the
Right.
kid looks to be a baller right now, but will he show up against his first true challenge in SEC play? Who
Well,
knows?
Josh Heupel's gonna try to run the ball too.
Oh yeah,
likes
that's what he
is
wants to
run the
do.
ball.
Yeah,
So if they can establish the run game against Georgia,
which is
and
going to be
then
difficult.
yes, and also Joey Aguilar not forcing the ball over to Georgia, Georgia's in for a run with Tennessee this game. I feel like it's gonna be a knockout drag out game here in
I,
Neyland.
I feel like this game is going to be a little bit more of a low scoring game. I don't know what the total for points is, but between Gunnar Stockton being, we don't really know if he can throw the ball great or not at the moment, and Joey Aguilar kind of seen his first true defense. I think it's going to be a low 20s, mid 20s type of game and start off really, really slow. Um, and maybe take a turn at the end. But all in all, this Georgia team looks great. Tennessee looks great. This is a clash of titans right here to start the season, which is going to be fun to watch. 2:30 kickoff in Neyland. Is there anything else you want to add on to it? And who do you have winning?
I'm gonna go with Georgia. I'm gonna agree with you with a low scoring game, but I'm gonna go 13 Georgia.
2013 Georgia. I'm gonna say 24-21 Georgia. They're not going to cover the spread. Tennessee's actually covered the spread in all their games this year, which I mean, there's only been two, but they covered the spread in all their and they covered the spread in all their home games last year, except for one or two, I want to say. So, all in all, I think Georgia's a great team. I think Tennessee's a great team. I think Georgia head coach wise has the advantage, even though Heupel's a great coach. Not taking that away from him. Kirby Smart's just,
Right.
I mean, he's one of the best of all
It's
time.
Kirby Smart.
Yeah, and that Georgia defense, I feel like, is going to give Aguilar his first true test, and they're going to give him a little bit of trouble, especially in that first half. And he's going to come back. They're going to bring it back in, but at the end of the day, Georgia's going to be too much for Tennessee this early on in the season. Which this could be a completely different Tennessee team at the end of the year as teams get better. But all in all, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No.
Well, this has been the RD podcast. My name's Dalton,
RJ.
and we'll catch you next time.